Views and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the staff or management of the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast.
Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast. I'm John Engelman. Appreciate you being here. This week, we are at the Langman Winery and Restaurant in Centerton talking with owner Jim Langman. But before we do, we've got a busy one today, and we kick it off with a food competition from the weekend because you know how we feel about food competitions over here, especially those that benefit a great cause. This past Sunday was Soup Sunday at the Rogers Convention Center, and it benefited the Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families. Now, first off, the place was packed, and the event raised over $290,000. If you heard last week's bonus edition podcast with event chair Channing Barker, you heard us talk about some of the 30-plus absolutely luscious soups that were there Sunday. The People's Choice Award is the Golden Ladle, and it went to Siam Thai Cuisine for their cow soy. Owners Ton and Noe explained what that was.
Our soup is like the noodle, egg noodle, and the curry soup. We have in northern part of Thailand. We're famous in northern part of Thailand. Yeah, and then we bring it over here.
There was also a foodie award that I took part in with some talented content creators, and Isabella's took home the Foodie's Choice Award with their white cheddar dill soup. According to Hannah Golden, this soup choice was never in question.
The white cheddar dill is one of our absolute favorites, and he knew the moment I said we're doing Soup Sunday, he said, I got it, we're doing that one. So it was not a question. He knew he was doing white cheddar dill.
To the Table is a nonprofit organization that provides nourishing meals to anyone that could use one. They serve everyone from single parents, the elderly, food insecure, unemployed, or generally in need of assistance, even if it's just for one night. They are having their introduction and dining experience dinner at the Grand at Willow Springs on Friday. Bentonville Shreve is the musical act, and the food is going to be amazing. If you want tickets, check out the bio on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas Instagram page. I certainly hope to see you there. After some soft openings, Hideaway Pizza officially opened their first location in Northwest Arkansas on Monday, just south of Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers. It's their 25th location, and the first one opened in Stillwater, Oklahoma in 1957. Springdale's New York Deli Express opened last summer and occupies one side of a vape shop on Sunset. You could certainly say that their cult following has caught on. They're opening a second location at 1710 West Hudson in Rogers today. Be ready for gyros, chopped cheese sandwiches, chicken over rice, lamb over rice, shawarma, and more. You will find it in the White Hawk Center. There's also a spot reopening today in Rogers. Monte Ne Inn reopens after their off-season. Get your family, your neighbors, neighbors, everybody get together and get your feed bag on. They're open Wednesday to Saturday, 5 to 8, and 12 to 7 on Sunday. Fried chicken for days, y'all. Plan ahead for this one. Desi Fusion, the now closed popular Fort Smith food truck, is opening their brick-and-mortar location in Springdale on Monday. It's in the old Punjabi kitchen spot on Sunset, a few doors down from Kraken Killer Seafood and Silk Road Thai at 2576 West Sunset. They'll be open from 5 to 9 and will be taking 10% off your bill. And then there's the sad news to report as Doe's Eat Place in Bentonville has shut down. If you need your fix, you can still go to the Fayetteville location as it is still open. I've shot them a note to find out more. They aren't the only Bentonville spot to close as Boba Journey closed as well. They served bubble tea, smoothies, waffles, and more. They opened in late 2021. In this week's Flavors Flashback, we hop back to late May of 2024 when we sat down with the venerable Maudie Schmitt of Café Rue Orleans. Café Rue is Maudie's second act as she retired from her first career before heading to Fayetteville.
So 25 years teaching special education. I started out in a special ed school in New Orleans and then got an offer to go to Abbeville, Louisiana. So Cajun country for sure.
There you go.
And so it was about the time when I figured out that I needed to do my master's anyway. So USL, University of Southwestern Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, was there, and it seemed like a perfect fit. So I worked on my master's while I was there. I lived in Lafayette. I taught in Abbeville. I taught in Crowley. I taught in Kaplan, Louisiana, and retired in Acadia Parish at Crowley High School.
Okay.
And so 24 years ago this month, I retired.
Wow.
So, I taught special ed, high school, a lot of community-based training things. I drove the short bus and got everybody to work.
Awesome.
So they'd come to school every day on a school bus, and then I would get them dressed for work. And we had little jobs, like I matched the kid and the skills to the job. So, like, Best Western needed just somebody to vacuum. So I'd teach them how to use a vacuum cleaner.
Great.
I'd drop them off in the morning with usually an aide, and then they would vacuum, and then I'd pick them up. They'd come back for lunch and then go on about their day. I had a kid who loved animals, and so he worked at the veterinary clinic. Now, he only really just hosed out cages and walked dogs, but that was a job that he could do. So, yeah, and I loved it. I loved what I did. I was at a high school. The kids were very involved with lots of things that went on at the high school, and it was good. It was good for me.
Jim Langman was destined to be a pharmacist. He started working in pharmacies as a young teenager and worked his way up to being a VP at Walgreens. He was never a fan of beer, wine, or hard liquor, but will tell us how he ended up getting into wine. He would then buy a vineyard in the Sierra Foothills of California, and he'll tell you why he decided against Napa. Jim and his wife, Sue, were going to move to California to the winery and live life there until Jim started getting courted by Walmart. After a second career with Walmart, they fell in love with Northwest Arkansas, as so many of us do, and they scrapped the California plans, but not the wine. Jim will tell us about Langman Winery and Restaurant next, right here on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org.
If you're new to Northwest Arkansas or just want to love where you live a little more, you should know Maria from The Good Life NWA. She's a local realtor who specializes in helping people find not just a house, but a community where they truly thrive. You could also find her on Instagram at The Good Life NWA, where she shares daily tips on exploring the region, making new friends, and her popular Thursday weekend event picks for anyone looking for inspiration. Welcome back. We are at Langman Winery and Restaurant here in beautiful Centerton, and we are joined by Jim Langman, owner-operator. Sir, how are you?
Good, John. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you doing this. I know we've been back and forth, but the weather's been a lot back and forth, too.
Oh, man, come on. This last Sunday, that was just Sunday in Chicago.
I know, right? It sure is. It sure is. By the way, one of my favorite downtowns on earth is downtown Chicago.
The food is great there.
Oh, just the whole thing. The whole setup, the river, everything. Yes. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. We are in Centerton now, and we are about to talk food and wine, and we kick it off with wine. By the way, I was here for the very robust grand opening, and let me just start with you explaining high level what this place is. What is Langman Winery and Restaurant?
Yeah, probably the biggest thing is this is our paying it forward to all of Northwest Arkansas because it changed our lives in a wonderful way.
Wow.
We are going to be here for 3 years, and this month it's 16 years. Just like a lot of people come around here. They come on here just temporarily, and then they fall in love with it, and everything changes your lives. And that's what happened. So we are from Chicago originally.
Yeah.
We never moved to California.
Yeah.
Because we stayed here, and we could not be happier with that decision. So this is us thanking the community. It's a place for families and loved ones and friends to gather. It is affordable. The wine and the food are clean. And the next day, as a pharmacist, I'm also happy that you're going to feel healthy the next day.
Yeah.
So it's good for the soul.
I have to tell you, you know how long I've been in Northwest Arkansas?
I don't know.
16 years. My first contract was 3 years.
There you go.
I thought I was going to be here for the very same amount of time.
Yep.
Unbelievable. It's funny how that
wonderful.
works out.
Yeah, it's a living Norman Rockwell painting. It really is.
Well, and we'll have to talk a little bit more about that. But you did not start out in wine.
No, sir.
Tell me how you started professionally.
So I'm a pharmacist by training. Started at the local pharmacy when I was 10 years old, and all 8 of the Langman children in a pretty rough suburb of Chicago. Worked at that pharmacy from one time or another. Worked there from the time I was 10 till I was a junior in pharmacy school.
Wow.
And then left, started at Walgreens, and pharmacist for 40 plus years now. And I'm just now going to let my license expire, which is a very hard decision because once you're in healthcare, you want to always take care of people.
Sure.
And now with this facility, we can take care of their health by not polluting them, and we can take care of their wallet also so they can afford to come here.
So you had that license for how long? 40 plus years?
I'm afraid to say that, but yeah, 43 years now.
Is there an interpol to just kind of renew it somehow, some way, even though you know you're not getting back?
So I did the last renewal a year ago. So it'll expire in March.
Okay.
And it's very hard to give it up, but
Yeah.
I was still doing consulting until we opened the restaurant.
I
But
see.
that's a full-time job to really bring validity to what you are giving to your clients. And healthcare is changing so rapidly.
Oh
All
my
the things you
gosh.
see on TV, it's down to the molecular level and the DNA level, and so we have smaller populations with much more specific diagnoses and then much more specific treatments, and that literally is changing every week.
That would
And
take
so-
all of your time to keep up
100%.
with that, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting time in medicine, it really is.
Wow. Exciting time to get out.
Yeah.
In your case, I mean, you know. Is that what you always want? I'm assuming that's what you always wanted to do growing up.
Yes, just working in the pharmacy. It was
Yeah.
a great place to learn. It was a bad neighborhood, so some great life lessons in the foundation going forward.
Sure.
So the owner's wife is Mrs. O, we call her Mrs. Osbach. She taught us empathy in an area where we grew up that didn't have empathy.
Okay.
And Mr. O, he was a pharmacist, and Mrs. O's parents were pharmacists who owned that pharmacy originally.
Okay.
And what I learned from him was a lot of really great things about hiring great people.
Yeah.
Foundational business practices like just-in-time inventory and having everything signed so people understood that it was a good time to buy that item.
Sure.
But also his way of hiring people, he only hired the next great person, not just the next person.
Yeah.
And everything was built on great people in his pharmacy.
Yeah.
And so I still use those same attributes today and all through my corporate business careers, and we've applied that here in our winery and restaurant here.
Did you say 8 Langmans worked at that pharmacy?
At one time or another. One time there was it was between 2 and 3 of us working there all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
A family environment, I guess.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was.
You've carried that forward here.
Yes, sir.
Well, before we get too far into it, I'd love to talk about back in your career, working your way up. I know it's been a long progressional process. Can you say progressional process? I think that's
You
right.
just did.
Yeah, well, we'll go with it. How that?
I understood it. So
Well, that's all that matters.
That's good or bad, I don't know.
That's all that matters. So your progress, you did quite well over the years in order to build your career.
Yeah, so had 2 great careers in 2 great companies.
Okay.
And literally grew up age-wise, maturity-wise, management-wise, then more importantly, leadership-wise. My 29-year career at Walgreens. I started off as a technician and stock boy, and worked my way into management, and then ended up the last 7.5 years there as their VP of clinical services.
Unbelievable.
And at the turn of the century when that happened, Walgreens understood that what's going on in pharmacy had to change. The needs of the country had to change. We had the baby boomers aging, and there was not going to be enough clinicians. And so, in 1998, pharmacists didn't do immunizations or HIV training or diabetes management.
Okay.
And that's literally, my job description was tell us what the future could be, should be, and how we're going to get there.
Wow.
And it wasn't me. I had very little to do with it. I just hired great people.
That's the way to do it.
Things done. Yeah. And
I was just going to say that's what successful entrepreneurs, that's what they do.
100%.
They got to hire the best, not only the best people for the job, but the people that know what you don't.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people.
Super
for me.
important. Well, for all of us, right?
Nobody's going to outwork me. Many of them will outthink me.
Well, there comes a time when you're at Walgreens where you're thinking, wine is good.
Well, so interesting enough, my wife and I actually really didn't drink anything. I never liked wine or beer or hard liquor.
Sure.
And I was doing a presentation at a conference in San Francisco for Walgreens. And Sue joined me for the weekend. My wife joined me for the weekend out there. And I went to the concierge. One of my directors said, "Jim, you got to go to Napa Valley. You're only an hour away." And I'm saying, "Carl, we don't drink, we don't like wine." And he says, "You got to go there." So we went down to the concierge desk, a very nice lady. Told her the story that I just told you.
Yeah.
And she completely respected our naivete.
Sure.
And she recommended someone named the Vino Van, Tom Delaney, who's the president of an engineering company. It was his weekend passion. He couldn't have been nicer and more engaging.
Okay.
Took us out to Napa Valley. We laughed and learned all day. He just gave private tours as his passion.
Wow.
Knew dozens and dozens of winery owners, hundreds of winery employees.
Okay.
Went to the floor of Napa Vallly and we're driving through like, wow, this is really cool. Looks like what we saw in the movies.
Yeah.
And we stopped at Anthony Bell's winery, Bell Winery, the original one on the floor of Napa Valley. He's one of the legends and founders of Napa. Couldn't have been more courteous and nice to us. Went to a big chilled tank of Chardonnay that was chilling. Took 2 glasses, put wine in. My wife and I expected nothing, and we sipped it, and we looked at each other and went, "Oh, that's what fine wine is," and that started it all. And so I cursed Tom Delaney, I cursed that director, Carl,
Right.
and everybody else was getting me started. And about 9 years later, after researching everything, Napa's not for working people. And we ended up in the Sierra Foothills, and it was just a remarkably wonderful place.
Yeah.
Totally old world, all family wineries. And met the gentleman who later became our winemaker, Marco Capelli.
Okay.
He had some property to sell. We bought a raw piece of property on the Fairplay Wine Loop in Somerset, California.
Yeah.
90 miles east of Napa, in between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe. And during the course of conversing with him, we realized we had stopped at some of the wineries that he was the head winemaker at. And we loved them. It was the first time I ever bought a wine future. It was a Cabernet Franc of his at a winery called Two Goods, which he is still the head winemaker there.
Let me ask you what buying a future is for those that don't know.
So it's a way to save money, a lot of money. It's, when you're making wine the right way, which is what we do and which what Marco did and still does, you harvest the grapes, you get the juice, you start fermentation. When fermentation's done, you put the wine into oak barrels to age, and that takes the corners off the acids and softens the tannins. And then years later, you'll put them in a bottle. You wait at least a year before you sell them. And for the wineries, that's a big investment. Like for us, that's quite an investment. We've been doing this since planted the vineyard in 2010. So a winery, for that wine that's still in the barrel, that's not going to be released for a year to 2 years later, tell a customer, I'll give you 50% off what our retail price is going to be. But you have to wait a year to 2 years to get that wine. So they save a lot of money.
Yeah.
It has cash flow for the winery. And then the people get a great discount on it. And the people who do this on a regular basis, like, oh man, you wait for 2 years for your wine. Well, if you do that every vintage, you've got wine coming in every year. So you're really not waiting. You're getting the stuff right when it's at its peak beauty, coming out of aging the bottle.
So that was your first future.
First future.
Okay.
Exactly.
So that one's the hard one.
I was like, wow, what do we do? And I'm like, okay, this is a great value, but the wines were stunning. And then we bought the property, and I said, Marco, we love your wines. We want you to be our winemaker.
Okay.
He told us the story that he left Napa Valley in 1999 because he had grown up with Anthony Bells and Mike Gergich, Andrei Technikov, so all the legends of Napa Valley from the 60s and the 70s.
Okay.
Marco was just a couple years younger than I. And he saw the industrialization starting to happen in Napa Valley, and he didn't want to do that. So he moved out to the Sierra Foothills, where it was the old world way of making wine. Okay. And he said to me, Jim, I'm not going to, I had no idea as a pharmacist. I was horrified to understand all the things you could put in wine.
Sure.
In America, legally, they don't have to tell you that. There's 132 ingredients that can be added. 41 of them cause histamine releases.
Yeah.
So you think about that. And then also, most of the wineries in America, and this is true for $4 a bottle to $400 a bottle, and most of the wineries are adding cane sugar. So you got all these ingredients that cause histamine releases. Then you got glucose. Then you got wines raising your glucose, going down, raising your glucose. You want another drink, going down. So from the pharmacist's point of view, as a clinician, I don't want to do that to my patients. I certainly don't want to do that to my customers in the winery.
Sure.
And he said, I'm not going to put those ingredients in there. And I said, Marco, I don't want those. In 2009, when you bought the property from him, we had this discussion. That wasn't a thing in America. Today, in 2026, everybody understands how bad that is for you in wine and food and other things that we consume.
Sure.
And what turned out to be, that's our ethos as the clinical side, and that's our soul on that, not doing harm to people. But it turned out to be a great business differentiator for us also.
Yeah, gosh, no question. And we'll talk more about that here in the next segment. But once you buy the land, once you get going, the planning process, the buying of everything, the putting everything together, I mean, it's got to be daunting.
As that pharmacy technician in 1981 at Walgreens, very daunting.
Right.
But again, what we learned is just have great people.
Sure.
Be humble enough to know that you don't know everything. Be smart enough to know that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And turned out that Marco, he was our winemaker, and we just talked and worked and interviewed with people.
Yeah.
Not informal interviews. Some of it was just get to know people. And so we were lucky enough to meet a gentleman named Rick Wickham, just legendary Myers Ranch Vineyards out there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Rick passed. He was a decorated Vietnam vet, and unfortunately, Agent Orange took him about 5 years ago.
Ooh.
But he started that vineyard from scratch. When I first started this process, I'm like, oh man, a vineyard, this is so cool. Oh, we're going to make wine, this is so cool. So I made some statements, and they were all so nice not to say, Jim, that's really dumb. So after that, all I did was ask questions. And so when I talk like I know what I'm talking about, it's because Rick Wickham and his whole team, and Marco Capelli and his whole team have poured all this information into my head.
Yeah.
And they're just that group of quality people who have great ethics, great knowledge, and they have technical knowledge, but they also have the historical knowledge of them through their careers also.
Sure.
And they look at wine, they look at vineyard management not as a moment in time, but as a legacy item, and that's what we are doing with our wines and with our restaurant.
What was that first bottling like?
It was pretty exciting.
Right.
So so in 2009, the vineyard nursery, vineyard manager, winemaker, and UC Davis studied the terroir, the vineyards.
Yeah.
Fancy schmancy term. It means the entire environment of the property.
Terroir.
Terroir. Chevrolet Coupé. That's all the French I got for you.
Je suis beaucoup.
So they studied. They came back with a list of American rootstock and French vine clone recommendations.
Okay.
And those were specific for that vineyard. It sits at 2,400 feet elevation. So what does that mean? It means the atmosphere. So the average vineyard in Argentina is about 1,850 feet high.
Okay.
Ours is 2,400 feet high. So what does a high elevation fruit mean? Atmosphere's thinner, sun's more intense, so the skins get darker, the juice is richer, and actually our growing season is about 2 weeks longer than lower down the hill, we call it out
Interesting.
there. So that's the first thing. It's crushed granite soil, has no nutrients, which is great. It's very well draining.
Okay.
If it's a great place to grow food, it's not a great place to grow dry wine grapes. So here in Arkansas, it's a great place for food. That's why we struggle. It's humid here. The soil is very rich, so we have to make sweet wines because the grapes are real close at the end of the season. You get some mold. That mold gets killed and it's harmless during fermentation. But then you have that funky taste, so you have to have sweet wines.
Okay.
It's hard to make great dry wines, and it's actually this whole region.
Okay.
So all the characteristics of that vineyard, 7 months a year, very little rain, under 25% humidity, 93 during the day, 58 at night.
Wow.
It's perfect to let and then we limit the number of vines per acre. Only 4 cordons, that's the permanent growth arms on each vine.
Okay.
And then on those permanent growth arms, we alternate the annual growth shoots. We clip every other bud.
Okay.
And then on the annual growth shoots, we clip each bud on that one.
Okay.
So we hold down the yield of each of those vines because they're struggling to produce more grapes to produce more vines.
Understood.
All that energy ends up in the grapes, and that ends up in our bottle. So that was a long story to that short question you had, but that all happened in 2010 when we planted the vineyard. So 2012, there was just enough grapes to literally hand harvest it almost grape by grape to make one barrel of wine. And that's our 2012 barrel number 1 Vincent Henry's Vineyard Barbera.
Oh, outstanding.
And you can make more wine earlier in the process, but our vineyard didn't come to full maturity until 2008.
Okay.
We could have probably started in 2014 using all the grapes,
Yeah.
but they're not going to be as beautiful as they are today.
Yeah. 2012 was a busy year for you.
It was very busy. So I retired from Walgreens in 2009. We bought the property. Came down to Arkansas to wait for the grapes to grow. And I was only going to be here for 3 years. Only going to be at Walmart and Sam's Club for 3 years.
Yeah.
I was there for almost 8 years. That's like I said earlier. This 16 years we're here, and we couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
And so at the end of 17, we started selling our wine into the wholesale channel while I was still full-time working.
Sure.
And so retired at the end of 17 from Walmart. I ended up as their health wellness compliance officer.
Sure.
Great second career. Again, nice part. You have no power when you do that. All you have is responsibility.
Yeah.
That's the healthy way to look at it.
Yeah.
So I started selling wine at the wholesale channel, and then we had the opportunity the beginning of 2024 to be at our current property. It's on 72 West in Centerton.
Yeah.
It used to be the former home of 72 West Mercantile and Antique Store.
Okay.
And had a chance to get a license for the entire 5.5 acres.
Okay.
And the owners, actually, one of the owners of the building, Joe Mitchell, the person who hired me
Okay.
in 2010 to come
Oh,
down
that's funny.
here. So yeah, so it's a small world, and now we're here today.
Well, back to that. You're coming to Arkansas. You've retired Walgreens. You've come down to Arkansas, or you're going to come down to Arkansas. What were you thinking versus what you experienced?
I'm really not sure what to expect. I
Right.
did know on a technical basis that the headquarters for J.B. Hunt, Tyson Foods, and Walmart were here.
Sure.
So I knew there was reason for them to be here and to stay here. My
Sure.
first assumption was probably a great work culture and company cultures, hopefully, and that's exactly what I found. I will say this: when I flew down for the interview, and the old Garmin GPS that the little clunky ones that had in the car in 2010.
You bet.
And I landed at the airport here. I was very, very small at the time. I'm like, wow, this is the exact opposite of O'Hare. And then I went,
Yeah.
This is great. This is the exact opposite of O'Hare.
Yeah.
And I punched the Garmin in, and I started driving out of the airport. And I'm like, oh, look how nice this is. The rental cars are right next to the door. This is so convenient.
Yeah.
And drove about 2 miles, and I went, wait a minute, all I'm seeing is cow pastures here. Where's Bentonville? Pulled over, hit the button back in, kept driving again, did the same thing.
Right.
And the third time I go, well, maybe I'm going to get to Bentonville. And all at once I got to the rainbow curve, and all at once, oh, Bentonville.
There it is.
And there it was. So it was a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
And the great part about somebody, and at the same time, before I even took the job, we already had the plans for the house out in California, a full big winery out there, all approved. But by probably month 8 or 9 here in Arkansas, we said, time out. This is too good.
Yeah.
And so you guys all grabbed our hearts, and we're here to stay. So we never built the house, never built the full winery. All we have is the vineyard and production out in California.
Yeah.
And the rest of that story that I already told you happened, and we couldn't be happier. So, matter of fact, today we don't even sell our wine in California.
That's crazy.
It is.
Well, and I remember you telling me on grand opening day, you originally had been doing a robust business in Missouri as well.
So we're distributing in Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas.
Okay.
And we're still Missouri. We actually have not started to redistribute here in Arkansas.
Okay.
And we've already shut down Kansas, and we're getting ready. They don't know this yet, so that's
Whoops.
what they're figuring it out. We're gonna have to stop distribution in Missouri because we're selling so much wine here.
Yeah.
It's a great problem to have.
Sure is.
People
great
are so responsive.
Yeah.
I just think it's the purity of the wine.
Yeah.
It's the ambiance of what we've built here.
Sure.
This is the place. Our goal here is to become the social fabric of our guests' lives.
Yeah.
They're not customers. When they come here, it's family.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you can never have too many good people in your life, and that's the way we approach it.
Yeah.
And it's a safe place for women. It's a comfortable place for families and the community to gather. And then
You can kind of tell.
Oh yeah, it's
right
fun.
here too. Yeah.
The nice part, the families can afford to come here as often as they want.
That's great.
And the wines are pure. You don't have headaches the next day. And then we also, that was the first time owning a winery, and now it's my first time owning a restaurant. John, why did you let me open the two highest failure rate businesses in the same building?
This was my next question. I wanted to know. No. You fit right into it. It's a beautiful segue. I wanted to know your restaurant background.
So I've eaten in many restaurants. That's it. So
threw yourself into the fire.
I just threw it in. Yeah. So the things I learned is that the biggest thing that I think we brought to the restaurant industry, again, I'm a completely nerdy pharmacist, so everything about the wine industry before we bought that property, before we stopped making wine, I analyzed everything I could land. It's just that the microscopic view of the world is what OCD pharmacists like me do.
Understood.
Same thing for the restaurant. What's the problems that they have? We also had great friends that we made down here who are actually junior partners in the business.
Okay.
And they have lots of culinary experience. And
very helpful.
Two great people, and I saw what greatness could look like in the industry. And they were from the front of the house side.
Okay.
But my interactions with people as I was interviewing people and getting knowledge from other very generous people with their time and their information was that what I noticed was the places that weren't successful or were struggling, they had big egos in the business. And they were doing stuff for themselves. Their menu was created for themselves, and not their customers.
Okay.
They were looking for classes of customers instead of the masses of customers.
Yeah. Okay.
And I said, why were we doing that? Mm-hmm. Let's open this up to as many people as we can to come on in and welcome them.
Yeah.
And that was probably the biggest lesson that I learned. And so we do this. I do the wine business with zero ego. I did my pharmacy career with zero ego.
Okay.
And in the kitchen we have three chefs: Kid Louise, Cody Heinrich, and Maddie King.
Okay.
There's no ego in that kitchen.
Oh, good.
We're doing stuff for our customers.
That's great.
And and then we'll continue to do that.
That's great. Well, speaking of food, speaking of wine, are you ready to talk food and wine?
Sure, let's go.
We'll get into it knee deep. That and the Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week, and that's coming up next right here on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas.
Let's go. Connect with us at Flavors of Northwest Arkansas on Facebook and Instagram, or by email at flavorsofnwa@gmail.com.
Okay, welcome back. It is now time for the Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week. And for that, Mr. Jim Langman, sir.
So I think we already talked about it. One of the biggest learnings I've had in the food and wine industry is the impurity in the food and wine industry.
Sure.
And so wines from $400 to $400 a bottle. Actually, there are wineries out there letting you know that, hey, now you'll never have to have a bad bottle of wine. When they say that, they're talking about the taste of the wine, not the purity of the wine. So I think ask whatever winery you're dealing with, or if they're knowledgeable people in wine shops, ask them if they have wines that they know are free of additives. In America, it's all different price levels have it, and about a third of the wines don't have additives. So if you know the winery like me, you got it.
Yep.
But the other thing is, European wines tend not to have additives because they have quality and purity standards. And wineries that come from small farm wineries like ours tend not to have additives either.
That's great. That's great. And let me tell you, if you're not familiar with that, it is quite the different experience.
Yes.
And it's a clean experience. And you can taste it.
Oh, yeah. 100%. You know, just when you smell a glass of wine, it should smell like the produce department at a grocery store.
Yeah.
And if you smell it, it smells like, that smells like a medicine.
Not a strawberry licorice stick.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Your story doesn't have to end. As an organ donor, the good in you can live on. In fact, you can save up to 8 lives through organ donation. Sign up to give the gift of life after you're gone. You'll be happy you did. Just maybe, someone else will too. Sign up online today as an organ, eye, and tissue donor at organdonor.gov. It saves lives.
For those of you that follow Flavors of Northwest Arkansas on social media, of course, Facebook and Instagram mainly, you saw last week that it was the 4-year anniversary of my kidney transplant. I was able to have that because someone was signed up to be an organ donor, and I'm forever grateful. Here's how you can do it if you're not. Now, keep in mind, only 64% of eligible Arkansans have signed up to be organ donors. We got to do better, especially with 105,000 people nationally on the transplant list. We've just got to do better because it keeps going up, and we're not making a cut into the. We're not making any sort of deficit into that list. So here's what you do. OrganDonor.gov is where you go to get signed up. I can tell you that in Arkansas and in Texas, it's a 5-minute process. You're signed up. You're good to go. Not comfortable with that? You can also do it through the health app on your iPhone, or do what I did, I think in the 90s. Go to your Department of Transportation, go to here in Arkansas, the Department of Finance, and get signed up when you get a new license. They'll just stamp it right on there. You'll be good to go. You'll be an organ donor. OrganDonor.gov is the fastest way to go. Get signed up there. Let's make a difference in the 105,000 people in the U.S. that are waiting. Thanks so much. And we're back. Jim Langman, Langman Winery and Restaurant. Sir, are you ready to talk food?
But before that, I have to be your clinician. So I'm so happy.
Well, thank you.
With your success of your kidney transplant. You look great. There's no telltale signs. There's really no residual signs I see.
Well, I appreciate it.
On an external basis. Couldn't be happier for you. And that's something we've been preaching since I was in pharmacy school, literally.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if 64% of the country who could be a kidney donor are signed up, and we have 340 million people in the country, that means there's at least 100 million more people who could sign up. And if every adult who could do that, every healthy adult and child of age, and the parents do that for us, we wouldn't have a organ waiting list at all. The transplant list would be taken care of, and what a great thing that would be.
Completely right. I couldn't agree more.
So that's my clinical side for you.
And you well done, sir. Well done. And for those that are on the list, keep to that diet. Keep to that diet. It's so important. And exercise. Those are the two main things. Hang in there.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah. God bless you.
God bless you very much. All right. We have been talking about the wine, additive free, the importance of that, and we've addressed that in several stages, and the taste.
Yes.
The taste, we just addressed that in the tip of the week. It's a cleaner process. I kind of want to, I know you mentioned it at the top, but the climate has a lot to do with that taste and the cleanliness. Tell me about that. The terroir, the granite level, I believe?
Crushed granite soil. So
yes.
There's no nutrients in the soil. And, if you leave grapevine alone, it'll just turn into a big cyclops of arms all over the place. And so the grapes that'll come out 4 or 5 years after that grapevine is planted will be very watery. They'll be table grapes.
Okay.
And so when you limit the ability of each of those vines to reproduce, all that energy and all the reproductive processes that are built into that plant go into fewer grapes. That's why it's so much richer. And as we talked about earlier, the high elevations, sun is the atmosphere's thinner, sun is more intense, juice is richer, skins are darker. And with the longer growing season, that means you have higher residuals or higher sugar, but higher alcohol. So you have to have higher concentration of all the flavors. So our wines are in the 14s, which is about 1% higher than what you would find in Europe. But they're perfectly balanced. They're not hot at all.
Okay.
And you have to have all that balance, the right amount of acidity, the right amount of tannins, the right amount of fruit, the right amount of alcohol. And how we do that naturally is they'll spend our reds will spend 14 to 36 months in the barrel, and then at least a year in the bottle. That's a natural way of softening out the wines.
It's great.
You can do that artificially with an amazing amount of things. The descriptions that you'll have on the chemical list of things you can add to wines almost look like the description on the back of a shampoo bottle. So build volume and texture and everything else. Exactly. It's not the same chemicals, but disgusting.
Yeah. It's quite the description at that. So when you started bottling your wines and really producing the wines, you had to come up with names.
Yes.
Family names. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we have all of our wines are by varietal, so it's the name of the grape. So Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Grigio, that's the name of the grape, and then there's 2 red blends. That first barrel of wine is after my only hero, my late father, most decent man I've ever known.
Wow.
And so it's Vincent Henry. And so a ton of grapes. We got just enough. I'm sorry, not even a ton of grapes. We got just enough wine to make 1 barrel of wine, which is about 24.6 cases. So we made that. Very excited to have that first case made. The Langman family immediately drank 9 cases of it.
Perfect.
So we have just a handful of cases left that we sell barrel number 1 bottles. Wow. We open one about every 6 months, and we plant it in 10, so you have 10, 11, and 12. for vines that were only 3 years old, the wine is still hauntingly beautiful.
Wow.
Even just its third year.
Yeah.
So it was, and so the names, Vincent Henry, and then my mom Edith. She had Edith Black Barbera. Our Pinot Grigio is named after one of my mom's 12 siblings. It was Aunt Nina.
Okay.
And she was the Italian Tina Turner of the western suburbs of Chicago. She had short skirts, high heels, husky voice. She could sing just like Tina Turner.
No kidding.
And she had the best calves in the world. And I remember as a kid, I'm thinking, boy, I hope I have calves like Aunt Nina when I grow up. John, I have to wear long pants to this day because I don't.
Stop it.
So, but that's everything we have on our last names on each bottle. Our loved ones' names are on each label.
Yeah.
Our Joy Red Blend is my late sister Joyce. We lost, unfortunately, very young age to cancer 30 years ago.
Oh gosh. I'm sorry.
The other red blend is Julia, and that's Joyce's daughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
So Julie got married about 6 years ago. And at her wedding, she had her mom's wine and her wine.
How great.
Yeah, pretty cool.
How to be able to do that, unbelievable. Well, in actually one of the Julia's Red was one of the last ones I had, and I've had, I guess most recently, the Zinfandel.
Yeah. So we have so the Julia Red, that's our Bordeaux blend. It's a combination of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot.
Okay.
And a lot of times Bordeaux blends can be kind of harsh because Malbec by itself sometimes is hard. Sure. Cabernet Franc by itself, normally when you add it, it's added into blends to build body and structure. But our high elevation with that long growing season, our Cabernet Franc has the big mouthfeel, but it's got a spine of red fruit running right down your palate.
Okay.
So it's just a Cabernet Franc by itself that's alive in the glass.
Sure.
And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous Bordeaux blend. And it's a Bordeaux blend that I don't hesitate to pour for someone with the most demanding red wine palate.
Sure.
Or someone who's brand new to red wines. That's the beauty of that. The Zinfandel, so we have our estate Zin, that's called Edward Zinfandel.
Okay.
And Uncle Ed was my wife's Uncle Ed.
Okay.
And Uncle Ed was a Army Colonel Captain in the Army Air Force.
Okay.
In the late 30s and early 40s, before in the Flying Tigers, before the U.S. got into World War II. He was a swashbuckling guy. His wife was Grace. That's Grace's Grenache, and she was the Marilyn Monroe of the western suburbs of Chicago. With her pink 1957 convertible Pepto-Bismol pink convertible T-Bird.
Did she sell Mary Kay on the side?
She should have. She could have been. They were just right out of the movies back then.
Love it.
But they were also wonderful people.
That's great.
Yeah.
How great is that? Well, I don't, and I've mentioned this to you before. I mentioned to you earlier before we started. When I came in and did the wine tasting, tried several of them, they were all very good. And you said, "Is there any wine that you just don't like?" And I said, "Jim, I just can't do Petite Sirah. I've got extended family that just lives by it and loves it and brags on it, and I've had it. I just don't like it.
Right.
It just to me is not good." So here's what Jim does. He try this. And there are a couple of other wines, all very good. And then he says, yeah, try this. And I try it. I don't even see the label, and I swish it around and smell it, take a sip. I'm like, oh, that's good. I said, well, what is it? You say, it's Petite Sirah. I'm like, Jim, what are you doing to me over here? It was good. It was really good. Yeah. And here's why. I
have no mercy. All the wines are beautiful. They're beautiful. So, Petite Sirah, when I say that to people, I found out that it was like, I get the reaction like they're dating in high school. They got burned so many times they don't want to go back.
Oh, yeah.
So now you can go back to dating in high school. Not while you're married, so you can't. But the Petite Sirah, instead of a punch in the face, it's a piece of velvet on your palate.
Yeah.
It says beautiful, dramatic black fruits, blackberry, black plum, black cherry. And when you taste it, you're like, wow, that is gorgeous. Now, I will say this. When we harvest those grapes, they're as black as my jersey.
Oh, wow.
And right after fermentation, the juice is almost like liquid licorice. I think like I would like it, nobody else. But so that spends as much as 3 years in the barrel.
Okay.
Getting softer. And, softening up. It's not soft. It's getting taking the corners off the tannins and the acids.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then what you have left is it's just beautiful. The one other thing, the other wine that I didn't do that day because you're having reds, it's a white wine. I just pour it for people.
Okay.
And they taste it. They go, oh, this is beautiful. And I show them the label. It says Moscato. They go, that's Moscato? Because if I say Moscato, they're like, oh, no, not Moscato. We've taken Moscato in the U.S. and destroyed it. We take wine, we pour booze, and we pour sugar in it, and we call it Moscato. That's not Moscato.
Okay.
In Italy, Moscato is a fine wine. And it's made of three grapes: orange and Muscat, Muscat d'Alexandria, and Muscat Canali.
Okay.
And our Moscato has those. That's made from those three Italian varietals. And so it has a kiss of sweetness, but beautifully, beautifully soft fruit on the palate. And once you smell it, green apple, pineapple on the nose and on the palate, it's beautiful.
Oh, wow. I have to qualify.
Sure.
I far prefer reds to whites, but I
100%.
don't dislike whites. I just want to state my case, because that day I was just having reds,
100%.
and I'm like, last thing I need to do is just taste every wine under the sun, because I got to drive back to Springdale. You know what I mean?
No problem at all. Love it.
So tell me more about the whites. What's your most popular outside of that?
So our Barbera, so we
Barbera white?
Barbera is a red wine. That's Italian red.
Well, yeah. I'm so sorry. I meant most popular white.
The white is, they're all. We weren't sure, and they're all. It is the Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
So Pinot Grigio, but Muscat Canali and the Moscato are right behind that.
Yeah.
They're so different. So our Pinot Grigio is what Santa Margherita used to taste. Now Santa Margherita, that's an Italian version of that.
Had it.
They got bought 13 years ago, I think it was.
Okay.
And they've industrialized production. They've been battling with, I think, the Italian government and the European Union to keep the quality tags on the bottles.
Right.
So our Marco Capelli, our winemaker, spent several years in Italy and France and Spain and Portugal. And our Pinot Grigio is made the same way. The Pinot Grigio, right out of it, if you just leave it in steel or concrete, it can have a high acid level.
Okay.
So our Pinot Grigio, just like they'll do in Italy, we put it in neutral French oak barrels for about 6 weeks. Takes the acids and go, hey, let's round out your corners on this acid.
Yeah.
And so now it's just this beautiful, dry, crisp, clean, citrus flavored wine.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Yep.
And we have to go back to the Barbera, because that I know it's the most popular one, but I think that was the first one I tasted, and I said, may I try that again? Or may I try that again? And really special.
Well, in end of 2009, when they brought the vine clone and rootstock combinations, the vineyard manager, winemaker, UC Davis, Vineyard Nursery, they said Barbera.
Uh-huh.
And that was the last one I said yes to, because I had never even had a decent Barbera in America. My experience with Barbera in America and most Italian ones was like chewing on lemon skin. It was so acidic.
Okay.
And I said, man, I don't want to have something that, just like we don't want to take care of the classes. I want to take care of the masses. I don't want something that only 5% of wine drinkers will like.
Sure.
And they said, Jim, you're a pharmacist. We know what we're doing. We're going to take this French clone of an Italian varietal, put on American rootstock, plant it on a south-facing crushed granite soil vineyard here in the Sierra Foothills. 7 months a year, it doesn't rain. It's under 25% humidity. It's 93 today. It's 58 at night. We're going to use all oak barrels, 1/3 new, 1/3 second, 1/3 third year on the barrels. We're going to leave in the barrels for a year and a half, and the bottle for a year and a half, and you're love what's coming out. And you got to say this in one breath from now on.
My gosh. Lord have mercy.
I'm dizzy.
Okay, now do it again.
So, with all that said, again, that was the last statement I ever made, was arguing with them, because when we tasted that 2012 barrel number 1 bottle, I went, holy smokes! And it's the best Barbera in America. And we've tasted that at large wine festivals against $150 versions of that from Italy.
Yeah.
And just blown them away.
No kidding.
And it came back a couple of vintages ago. Came back as an editor's choice, 94 points. And
How about that?
They had it in their Wines of Year edition.
Yeah.
So it's got a little mini cult following, which is kind of cool.
That's great.
Yeah. So and for people who don't know what it is, in the northwestern part of Italy, in the Piemonte area, you have Nebbiolo and Barbera, the king and queen of the grapes. So that's where the Barolos or the Barbera di Assis come from.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Good note. Okay. I guess now we got to segue into the restaurant side.
Yes, sir.
The restaurant side.
Love it.
Love it. And so I'm setting up here, and Jim's here running food, and I'm thinking, okay, he's in the middle of it now. He's making sure he's got the corners covered. I want to get into the menu, and the thing that caught me immediately. Well, let's get before what caught me. What caught me in my email earlier today is the newest member of the menu, the lasagna.
Yep.
Good time for that.
Sure. So we the things on the menu. People say, "What's on your menu? Is there some characteristic?" I said, "There's something for everyone."
Yeah.
And so we didn't have a designated Italian dish, and I'm half Italian, so it's got to measure up to Mama Cornacchia, Mama Langman's lasagna, the Italian cooking. And so we just released a lasagna literally today. It's on the menu. It's beautiful layers of pasta and sausage and beef and marinara and parmesan and balsamic. vinaigrette, and it's got the basil and paisley on it.
So what
lovely.
you're trying to tell me is everyone that works here is going to gain 10 pounds in the next couple months.
100%. It is.
Sounds amazing.
So, but for everything we put on the menu, there's probably been 4 things or 5 things that we've tasted. We're like, nope, not good enough.
Okay.
And that's our no ego.
Sure.
So I don't like shrimp. I guess lots of people like shrimp.
Yeah.
And we sell a ton of shrimp.
Yeah.
One of our chefs doesn't like olives. I love olives. So again, we're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for the customers.
It's a good note.
One of the big decisions we made, though, and this is part of the ethos that we were talking about with the food.
Yeah.
And one of the big learnings I had is we wanted this to be healthy food for people also. And in restaurants, what's one of the biggest things, and one of the things we're discovering now as a country, the unhealthy part of foods, is how foods are prepared. And so in our kitchen, part of this, it made great economic sense at the end. If we just do the right thing, it turns out to be a great business too.
Yeah.
Is the only source of heat in our kitchen is a convection oven. So
Okay.
we have no flame, we have no grill, and we have no grease.
Okay.
So you come here, there's nothing fried. And if you understand what's in fried foods and all the seed oils that have been used to fry things over the last 30 years since
Sure.
we got away from the tallows, right?
You bet.
We don't want to clog your arteries here.
Yeah.
We don't want to clog your sense of smell, because you have to have a sense of smell to really enjoy wine. I don't want my team or my customers leaving here smelling like a French fry at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so the foods we have are very fresh and clean and as healthy as they can be for you.
Interesting note on the smelling. I hadn't even thought of that side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how clean is it? How clean this is?
Yeah.
Is there's no hood in the back and there's no sprinkler system. That's how safe and how clean it can be.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. You had mentioned shrimp, the butter poached
Lemon
jumbo shrimp.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So I had one. I just can't.
You're just not a shrimp guy.
I'm not a shrimp guy. Any crustacean, I'm not. I'm really not.
Really?
My
Okay.
wife loves them.
Yeah.
So if it's a surf and turf, she gets all the surf and I get the turf.
Okay.
I think it's a better deal.
That's fair.
So the shrimp discs, they're all ocean certified.
Okay.
And ocean caught shrimp.
Nice.
They're all jumbo, all fresh, and you have lemon and drawn butter. Each of them cooked to order.
Yum.
Come out on a plate. Most people order with a jasmine rice side.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And a side salad. And with any of those dishes, any of our whites go beautiful. It's really the way you want to taste it.
Sure.
If you want to have a red, I think the Grenache works beautiful with it also. We sell a ton of it.
Yeah. I got to talk about the fire braised short rib. That sounds like it's the one that's up your alley, probably pre-lasagna, up your alley the most.
Yeah. So back in college,
Uh-oh.
I had a couple of classmates who were saying, "Hey, I'm a vegetarian. We shouldn't be eating meat." And I'm listening to the discussion, and boy, that's some good points. And it was an anatomy and physiology class.
Okay.
And I looked up to the professor and I said, "Professor, are we born to eat just plants, or are we carnivores?" And she looked at everybody. She goes, "Hate to tell you this, guys." And she goes, "These are canine teeth." I'm like, yes. So that's it. We're carnivores. And so what we did, again, all the proteins we have, the shrimp, the pork tenderloin, the chicken breasts, and especially the short ribs are all the best proteins we could find in this entire region. Mm-hmm. We sampled from lots of different suppliers and ranchers,
Sure.
And it just melts in your mouth. Short rib has to be prepared the right way. It's a long process to do it correctly. It's
Absolutely.
at least a 6-hour process.
Yes, sir.
And ours is flavorful. It's tender, and I didn't realize how great short rib could be until we started here. And again, I made no statements. I just listened to our chefs.
You bet.
Who actually know what they're doing. And to a small gentleman named Greg Cockburn. He worked at the best steakhouse in town at River Grill.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, "You got to try this short rib from this place."
Yeah.
And we had it. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
So that's our best-selling food item on the menu.
Outstanding.
That comes as an entree. It comes as in our tacos. They're the best tacos you're ever going to have.
There you go.
Got a little salsa verde on it, a little drawn sour cream on it. Some caramelized onions all done in the back. Delicious. And probably one of the things we're most proud of. And I'll take a little. All right, this is a little bit of Chicago-ness in here.
Okay.
In Chicago, there's a beef place called Portillo's.
Yeah, of course.
every time we go to Chicago, first thing we do, leave O'Hare Airport, say, thank goodness we're out of O'Hare Airport, and we go right to Portillo's to get a beef sandwich and one of their tamales.
I've got really bad news for you. They got them in Dallas now too.
They do. Oh,
yeah.
Well, they have to have. Well, we don't need them here because now our French dip is as close to we've ever had.
Okay,
to
I was about to ask you. That was my next question.
It's as close as you can get. It's
okay.
Beautiful. And now with the prices that are in Chicago, it's about the same price.
Fair. That's fair.
It's as an entree. It's
That's
a
fair
price. Yeah.
The grilled chicken, apple, and cheddar, handheld.
Scary good.
Yeah.
So
I love the apple edition.
Well, you know what? The other thing you can have with that is we got our buns from an Italian a small Italian bakery.
Oh wow!
And we also offer it as a wrap. So
of course,
a big green wrap, and you take that apple sandwich and you put it in there, and then you order one of our bisques, either tomato or lobster bisque. Oh, delicious!
It's like you're looking at my list as to what I'm asking
I'm
next.
Sorry.
No. It's a beautiful segue.
So I'm a heretic. I dip those sandwiches right in the soup. It's delicious.
Well, lobster bisque is like one of my favorite soups of all time. So that's what I'm asking about.
Yeah. So it's a real bisque. A lot of bisques are just made from cream. Bisque starts off as rice.
Yeah.
It's a long process to cook it all the way down.
Yeah.
Until it's liquefied, and that's what you have there. John, I think we got to stop. I'm hungry. Let's go.
Yeah, right. Well, we got to talk dessert, the orange phyllo
100%.
cake, right?
It's scary.
Yeah.
So I did not know what it was. I guess the easiest way to describe it is, most cakes are flaky, but if you have pastry like a donut, it's a little donut is a little fuller, right?
Yeah.
Or a bagel's even much heavier, right?
Sure.
Phyllo cake is more like a pastry. It's not like a cake.
Okay.
And so this one's actually substantial. It's the difference between 2% milk and full milk, and the difference in texture and weight on your palate, right?
Okay.
So it's a much fuller dessert. And you hear orange, you're like, boy, is that going to taste funny? And they actually got a little round thing on each piece has a round thing of orange, a little orange on it.
Yeah.
And it's infused in the pastry. If you try to do that with a typical flaky cake, it's not going to work. This one is a three-dimensional dessert that's just it's exciting. It's like having a salad and a dessert and a fruit bowl all at once.
Gosh.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like a full meal right there.
It does.
Jim, thank you for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you for what you're doing. Continued success. Most importantly, continued great health.
Thank you. And you the same, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Where can folks find you?
So we are at Langman Winery Centerton.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and some of these other internet-y. John, I'm telling you, this internet thing, it's going to be big one day.
Is it not a fad?
It's big. It's not a fad. So we're located 11507 Highway 72 West in Centerton. We're about 8 minutes from downtown.
Yeah.
3 minutes off the bypass. We're actually easy to get to. We have plenty of parking. And we've permitted the entire 5.5 acre property.
Nice.
As for the business. And so what we will do, we have a full deck out there, 600 square feet. It's covered with sailcloth. And this year we're going to have a couple car shows out here. We're going to do a concert in the park.
Heck yeah.
And so we're opening this up for the whole community. It's a place to gather.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
great. Looking forward to that. Appreciate you, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Flavors of Northwest Arkansas, you can find on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, going out this weekend, tip your servers. They've had a rough week. Please tip them, and please remember that. Appreciate you joining us. Have a great, great weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.